Hello, leader. I'll get right to the point. Do you hear yourself making excuses for why things are not going as great as you'd like them to be? Are you blaming everything from celebrity culture to politics to the weather on your troubles? Well, today, the buck stops here, and I'm holding you accountable to own up to what's really happening inside your business. If you're ready to face the music and hear 3 real-life situations that could also be happening for you, and if you're open to hear what you can do about it, stay tuned. Now, if you'd rather hide under the covers or get lost on a streaming platform for a while, see you later. Maybe next week you'll tune in and be ready to make some big shifts in how you show up every day in your business. Oh, you're still here. Nice! Let's get to it. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. Thanks for tuning in and following your curiosity to learn and honor your personal conviction to be the best leader you can be. On this podcast, you won't hear a bunch of theories presented by academics who haven't been in a workplace in years or ever, and you'll not hear from executives who are flush with capital, people, and pool tables in their cafeteria telling you how to build team culture. Nope. Why? Because you are a small business owner and you've built something great out of nothing. And through it all, you've learned that you need a team, but not just any team. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. I've led winning teams in retail, innovative technical teams at a Fortune 50 corporation for decades, not-for-profit boards, and in online business, and helped many remote teams win at work. And I can tell you that no one escapes team troubles, including me. These days, I'm the CEO of Stacking Your Team, where I teach and develop tools for small business owners so they can attract, retain, and develop their teams so the founder can step out of her day-to-day operation. I'm so happy you're here because we all know that the people side of running your business is often the most difficult, and the team that got you here may not be the team that gets you there. So come on, let's jump in to today's episode. You've likely been there, feeling frustrated that your business didn't hit a revenue goal. A client didn't renew, a particular project came in way over budget, or your latest new hire just quit. Or you missed renewing your snowplow contract, so the first storm hit your business really hard. It happens. You've got lots going on, and when things don't go your way, it can be really easy to blame everything on everyone but yourself. When things are busy on the home front, it only makes things worse. Oh, now I get it. Small business is personal. Every decision, every job offer, every new client, every milestone, and every mishap, and those darn expenses, it's all so personal. Because of this, it's normal to take criticism or setbacks as a direct reflection on your abilities. And after stewing over disappointments and challenges for a while, it can feel easy to deflect blame onto your team as a way to protect your ego. It happens. And yes, there certainly may be some truth in this with specific team members who are not meeting expectations. However, is the whole team to blame? No. So let's have a look at these 3 realities of life in a leadership role and uncover what's really causing all of your disappointments so that you can stop with the BS excuses and start leading your team to greatness. And before I go any further on today's episode, I want to encourage you to hang in here with me. Some of this might make you feel uncomfortable, but I know you can do hard things. Let's start with the obvious. If you've set unrealistic expectations regarding the performance of your team, it can lead to disappointment, frustration, and blaming. If the goals you put forward to your team are felt to be unattainable or fail to provide the necessary resources or timing, it can contribute to a blame culture. Not only can you find yourself blaming your team, but you can overhear your team blaming each other or even clients. and you. None of this is helpful. It's only making things worse, and people are losing trust for one another, possibly you too. The excuses that you might find yourself saying are things like, I don't have the right team, or my team doesn't bring me any good ideas, or my team just isn't willing to work hard enough to achieve our goals. But have you considered this? How do you respond when your team offers suggestions and ideas? Do you cringe? Do you brush off their point of view? Or do you stop, listen, and ask for even more detail? You know, it only takes a few disappointing experiences when a team member shares their ideas that are then squashed to end their confidence to share any ideas at all with you. Instead, they'll wait for you to tell them what to do. So they execute your ideas. And if the idea falls flat, it's not their fault. Again, the blame game is alive and well in this situation. Now, believing that your team just won't work hard enough to reach the goals you've set forward could be a skewed notion, when in reality, your direction is vague. And they're guessing, albeit not always successfully, about what you really want as the outcome, or how you want the task executed. Other times, your direction keeps changing because you're not confident of the plan yourself, and that's spilling over into what you're asking your team to deliver on. They start, you ask them to stop. You tell them to shift. They do so reluctantly, waiting for you to change your mind and their work plan again. Yikes! None of this is the workplace environment that you dreamed of when you began your business. The second obvious excuse that lays blame and keeps your business stuck is the sheer high levels of stress and pressure to keep your doors open and your team employed. Now, this is very real. And if you are an inexperienced or ineffective leader because you might not possess the necessary skills to address challenges or conflicts, either within the team or with clients, in a constructive way, blaming the team might be your default response. You might tell your friends and family that your team needs too much hand-holding, they can't think for themselves, or the business simply needs your deep oversight every day. But have you considered this? Have you built a team structure that drives ownership deep into your team with accountability and measures that includes ways to coach your team to improve and stay on track? No? It's all so unfortunate when the business owner doesn't ask for help or know how to get help. So she keeps throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping some of it sticks. My clients hail drumbeats and the 5-hour work plan as their holy grail for accountability, and they describe their businesses as before I had those tools and after I had those tools and more. It's made that much of a difference in how their teams perform. They needed help. They asked for help, and they got the help they needed to set up their team to truly know what they're getting paid to do and then step up to own the results and responsibility areas. You see, it was the shift in stopping the need to handhold her team members that led her to be able to step out of her daily operations. Leadership skills and strategies can be taught, and you can master them. The stress and pressure of being a business owner can be eased when you have a solid team of people that are there to help you make decisions and grow the business. When you can lighten the load and share the weight of creating strategies to stay out front of your clients and customers, you can then find your mojo again and actually start sleeping better. Hey, if you're listening to this episode in real time, it's mid-January, the perfect time to decide to do it differently this year and get some high-touch support for you and your team. Watch your calendar get freed up. Watch your team take ownership for activities and results. Watch your team stop needing you to hold their hands. Watch your team solve their own problems. Watch your team earn their paycheck, and watch your team be happy about what they do. Now, we all know that it's tough being a leader, But it can be easier when you put yourself first, ask for help, get quality help, and then apply it. I'm here to help you build a small but mighty leadership team that will run your operations without you. Just think about how much more energy you'll have to focus on other important things, including your family and friends, when you're not so tightly tethered to your day-to-day goings-on in your business. We're welcoming new members into the Leadership Lab right now, and I have a few spots available for one-to-one coaching too. And yes, it's true, your team gets training and coaching from me as well. Apply today directly from the Stacking Your Team website or the link that's in the show notes. You really are ready for this. Okay, let me get you back to the show. The next common excuse that lays blame on your team instead of looking deeply at what part of the outcome you own is declaring that you feel overwhelmed, disorganized, and uncertain about what to do next. As a small business owner, you can find yourself going through cycles where you're suffering from these feelings a few times a year, maybe even more. Sometimes it's the fear of the unknown, worry about what could be coming around the corner in your marketplace or your niche that can be masked as overwhelm and being disorganized. This happens because you're spending time doing comfortable tasks and activities instead of facing the uncomfortable tasks of strategizing, improving your operations and your team structure, and hosting those tough conversations with your underperforming team members. But it's time to start taking ownership of your leadership responsibilities. And the best way to do this is to stop brushing these aside and instead start blocking quality time to think, plan, and strategize. And then collaborate with your team to put together action plans to get organized and share the responsibilities to work on your priorities and ask your team to help bring your strategic plan to life. My clients have moments when they are definitely feeling worn out, and turning to their trusted peer group for insight can create so much more calm and confidence instead of worry and dread. Coming together a few times a year in person at our retreats also helps to deepen their relationships even further. It's priceless, really, and they can help jar their peers out of being stuck and act as a sounding board for action plans and next steps. Having trusted people surround you that are at the same level or a few levels ahead can amplify your efforts as they share their experiences, saving you valuable time and even tears. If you're ready to evolve and let go of the BS and instead start doing things differently to lead your team so they can thrive, let's work together to find practical solutions and overcome challenges rather than dwelling on those excuses. After all, your success is your team's success, and it all depends on how well you make accountability normal for anyone on your team, regardless of their role. Your long-term success will also be built upon your ability to clearly communicate with everyone on your team, regardless of their role, their location, or how new they are, because everyone deserves to know what they're getting paid to do, why it's important, and where are you all headed. And finally, the future of your business is dependent on your commitment to excellence, and the proof is in whether or not you hire right, and if you can inspire your team to rally around what excellence really means in your workplace. That takes a bit of work to define. Then you've got to roll it out, reinforce it, and then reward people who are actually living it and coaching others to do it too. Here's some work that falls in your responsibility as a leader. Deciding that excuses don't cut it in your team culture is a great way to shift everyone forward and into taking action, informed action, to resolve problems, streamline your processes and systems, and encourage collaboration right across your team. These are proven foundational leadership strategies that successful businesses of all sizes and shapes are built upon. So let's take a second to reflect on this. Excuses are for people who refuse to take control of their actions and responsibilities. Yeah, that was heavy. but truthful. Instead of relying on excuses, let's focus on finding solutions, learning from our mistakes, and helping our team members grow as individuals and as a collective and capable team. It's what your high performers on your team want too. So as we close out today, let's recap what you just learned here on the podcast about ditching the excuses we tell ourselves about why we're not happy with our results, and instead start taking ownership of our leadership skills, our capabilities, and of course the strategies that we decide to go forward with. Here's a recap of those 3 common excuses that small business owners wear like a badge of honor, and their team feels the brunt of it. Here they are. The first story is that you tell yourself and others that I don't have the right team, or my team doesn't bring me any good ideas, or my team just isn't willing to work hard enough to achieve our goals. The second common story I hear a lot is due to the stress and pressure to keep your doors open and your team employed. So you say and believe things like, my team, they need a lot of hand-holding. They can't think for themselves. Or they'll tell me, the business simply needs my deep oversight every day. And the third common excuse and the backstory that you can tell yourself far too often is that you're feeling overwhelmed and disorganized and uncertain about what to do next. So you stay stuck. Lord, have mercy. You will never get out of your daily operations thinking like this. You'll also never be able to sell this business because it's too darn reliant on you. And like Professor G says, greatness, aka scaling, is in the agency of others. So it's time to ditch the BS excuses and hoping that someday it will all miraculously just work out. It won't. You've got to invest some time into learning practical solutions to overcome these challenges. And I can tell you that being surrounded by other people who have a lot of drive and a big need to improve their situation can truly accelerate what you're doing. Just being around other people who walk face forward into learning new tools, new strategies, new frameworks, and ask for help makes such a big difference in how they feel, how they show up. They do it differently in their business, and their team is noticing it too. You can join the Leadership Lab right now. It's my 6-month group coaching program where you'll get all of my signature tools that my clients rave about, and it includes private one-to-one time with me as well. And yes, your team gets my coaching and training too. Now, if small groups are not your thing, I take on a few one-to-one clients each year. So if you're up for some high-touch, done-with-you approach to accelerating your team's capacity and getting you some time back, you might want to think about that. But don't wait too much longer. Those one-to-one spots go quickly. If you want help, ask for it and get the help you need and see how dramatically different you'll feel as you lead your team with tools, coaching, and frameworks that are designed for small business owners and their teams to excel. Visit the website at stackingyourteam.com. I don't just coach you, I teach you. And yes, it really is me who steps into your business to help streamline your efforts. If you found today's podcast helpful, why not share it with a friend? Or tag us on Instagram, where I'm at Stacking Your Team. Maybe leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast. And hey, did you know that we have resources available for you on our website? Get on over there and check them out. Everything we do at Stacking Your Team is designed to help you strengthen your leadership skills and build a high-performing team. See you next week.